a man discovered something strange while diving. It seemed that something was buried beneath the sand. Unexpectedly, he unearthed an ancient dagger. Although it had been soaked in seawater for thousands of years, the dagger's surface still emitted a golden glow, and several rare horsehair gems were inlaid in the handle. The man immediately realized that this dagger must be quite valuable, and recognized that the seabed likely concealed many ancient treasures. He then called his companions to dive underwater with him. They used markers to secure the area and took out metal detectors to scan the surroundings. Suddenly, the pointers kept jumping left and right, indicating that something was buried beneath their feet. They quickly used a blower to clear the sand from the surface. As the murky seawater gradually dispersed, the two finally discovered a rusty iron chain. Following the chain, they navigated all the way and unexpectedly found an ancient cannon. Upon seeing this, both became instantly excited, hurriedly attached ropes to both ends of the cannon, and then filled their oxygen tanks. However, just as they were about to lift the cannon out of the water, an accident suddenly occurred. In the next moment, a rope accidentally broke, and the cannon fell back into the water. A $30 million gold watch accidentally fell into the sea. When he dove to the seabed to search for it, he unexpectedly discovered a duck cabin stone in the sand, which meant there was definitely a sunken ship nearby. Realizing that the seabed harbored a large amount of ancient treasures, Paul immediately called his companions and went underwater. They began continuously scanning with large instruments, and soon discovered an ancient cannon from prehistoric times. They tied ropes to both ends of the cannon, then filled the oxygen bags with air. In the next second, the cannon began to slowly float toward the surface. However, at that moment, Xiao Mei, who was keeping watch on the ship, suddenly sensed something was wrong and saw a patrol boat approaching. Helplessly, Xiao Mei could only go forward to greet them and then forcibly delay. At this time, the underwater team panicked because this sea area was a strictly no dredging zone. If the nearby Coast Guard found them, they would surely face severe imprisonment. Seeing that continuing like this wasn't a solution, Paul quickly signaled his teammates to release some oxygen, causing the cannon to begin slowly sinking again. Unexpectedly, because his companions were too nervous, Shohua accidentally released all the oxygen. In the next second, the buoyant cannon rapidly fell, dragging unprepared companions down with the ropes, and then pinning one of their arms under the cannon. Helplessly, they could only help the companions start to escape. However, because the cannon weighed hundreds of pounds, no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't move it at all. Moreover, their oxygen tanks were about to be depleted, and they would soon perish there. At this time, they could only take turns conserving their remaining oxygen. In a critical moment, Paul suddenly had a bold idea. He took a deep breath and pumped all the remaining oxygen into the oxygen bags. Using the buoyancy from the oxygen, Paul exerted all his strength to lift, unexpectedly managing to raise the 100-ton cannon, while the companion's arm was freed from the predicament. Then, the group hurriedly returned to the ship without delay. Fortunately, one of the companions and the captain were old friends, so after chatting a few words hastily, they left the scene without noticing the treasures the group had salvaged. Finally, the group moved to a new city, and from then on, Paul and Xiao Mei lived happily ever after.